Welcome back to my YouTube channel that brings you the most incredible, mind-blowing stories of how seemingly ordinary coins have turned into multi-million-dollar treasures. And today's episode is about a remarkable 2011 D1 cent coin that has shocked the numismatic community and collectors around the globe by fetching an unbelievable $288 million at a private auction. An event that redefined how modern coinage is viewed and valued, and this 1 cent piece, struck at the Denver Mint in 2011. Initially appeared to be just another common Lincoln Shield cent, a coin millions of Americans handle every day without a second thought, but when the coin in question was carefully examined by a seasoned collector who noticed something astonishingly off about it, it started a chain of events that would ultimately lead to one of the most extraordinary valuations in coin history. And to truly understand how this coin skyrocketed in value, we need to take a deep dive into the complex world of minting errors, transitional mishaps, overlooked details, and a unique set of circumstances that came together at just the right moment to birth this numismatic legend, starting with the fact that 2011 was already a year of subtle transitions and technological upgrades at the US Mint, where new equipment was being tested and certain processes were being adjusted behind the scenes, particularly relating to the single squeeze hubbing technique used in die creation. And while the Shield reverse design had been introduced just a year prior in 2010, the transition still had a few lingering inconsistencies in terms of die setup and quality assurance, and somehow, amid all this, a single coin emerged that would go on to stun the world because it bore an extraordinary combination of errors that would normally be seen only in separate individual specimens across multiple decades. And to start with, the most obvious error was a major off-metal strike, as the 2011 D penny was inexplicably struck on a foreign planchette believed to be intended for a coin of a smaller denomination from another country's minting batch, leading to a weight that came in at only 2.3 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams expected for a copper-plated zinc cent. And while that slight weight difference may seem minor, it was the key clue that prompted further analysis, which revealed a planchette composed not of the usual 97.5% zinc and 2.5% copper plating, but an unusual alloy blend closer to 88% zinc, 10% nickel, and traces of manganese and tin, an unheard-of composition for any known US 1 cent coin, raising the immediate question of how such a planchette got into the Denver Mint supply in the first place. And upon more inspection, the obverse of the coin revealed a dramatically double die, with strong and clear doubling visible in every element of the design, from the date 2011 to the words "In God We Trust, Liberty," and even parts of Lincoln's jawline and ear, producing a dramatic visual effect under magnification that even novice collectors could immediately identify. And the mint mark D itself was repunched, with a distinct secondary impression offset slightly to the northwest of the primary mint mark, a feature that should have been nearly impossible for that year given the use of modern single-punch technology, and yet, somehow this repunching occurred, suggesting that the die itself may have been improperly prepped or that a manual override was used at some point in the production process. And as if that weren't enough, the reverse side of the coin presented a whole new set of incredible anomalies, beginning with an inverted die rotation of nearly 180 degrees, meaning that when you flip the coin vertically, the reverse is upside down, a dramatic minting mistake that usually fetches significant attention on its own. And within the design of the Shield reverse, the horizontal stripes showed signs of misalignment, with the Shield's outline slightly doubled and the central scroll bearing E pluribus unum appearing flattened and partially struck through, likely due to debris on the die surface or a filled die condition. And microscopic analysis revealed further die cracks originating from the base of the Shield, running across the lower denomination inscription 1 cent, with one crack branching into the rim in a lightning bolt pattern. An aesthetically fascinating and highly unusual feature that added yet another layer of uniqueness to this coin. And all of these physical abnormalities were found on a coin that, remarkably, had never entered circulation, showing full red luster and no signs of handling, with crisp detail and pristine surfaces preserved in what experts determined was a near-flawless strike, prompting major grading services to assign it a perfect or near-perfect mint state grade with error designations rarely ever seen all on one slab. And once word got out that such a coin existed, the numismatic world exploded with speculation, investigation, and frenzied attempts to understand how such a coin could come to be, and theories ranged from accidental planchette mixing due to experimental coinage runs, to test pieces that were never meant to leave the mint, to a rogue employee mishap. But what united all expert opinions was the fact that nothing like this had ever been found in the post-2000 Shield cent era, and after the coin was authenticated, it quickly became the target of intense interest from elite Collectors, institutional investors, historical organizations, and even multiple government-backed museums who understood that the coin represented a once-in-a-century anomaly, and as the coin made its way to a private auction, bids began to pour in from around the globe, far surpassing the initial estimated value of $1 million, climbing into the tens, then hundreds of millions, driven by its layered complexity, unmatched combination of errors, pristine condition, and the sheer improbability of its existence, until finally, the winning bid came in at $288 million, setting a world record not only for any modern Lincoln cent but for any post-1950 US coin, making it one of the most valuable non-precious metal coins ever sold in human history, and since then, the 2011 D1 cent coin has become the stuff of legends, inspiring thousands of collectors to revisit their spare change, re-evaluate their 2011 D rolls, and invest in better magnifying tools in hopes of uncovering something even remotely similar, and yet to this day, not a single other coin has surfaced with the same unique combination of a foreign planchet, dramatic double die obverse, repunched mint mark, die rotation error, filled die reverse strike through, and crack-ridden features all in uncirculated condition, preserving its crown as a true one-of-a-kind in the world of modern minting anomalies. And while some numismatists continue to explore how the coin might have originated, from theoretical explanations involving mint equipment cross-contamination, to conspiracies about clandestine test strikes or unofficial trial pieces released into circulation by mistake, no definitive origin has ever been established, further fueling its mystique and enhancing its value in the eyes of collectors, historians, and investors alike. And for a coin with no silver, no gold, and no ancient provenance to reach $288 million, it speaks volumes about the extraordinary impact that error convergence, minting mystery, and collector passion can have on perceived value. And today, this coin stands as a living example of how modern coins are just as capable of containing history-changing secrets as their ancient or early American predecessors. And for the average collector, the story of the 2011 D1 cent coin is a powerful reminder to always look closer, to never assume commoners, and to understand that sometimes the greatest treasures are hiding in the most overlooked places. And as the legend of the $288 million 2011 D penny continues to grow, so too does the hope that another like it may someday be found, perhaps by someone just beginning their coin collecting journey. And until that day comes, this singular coin remains the absolute pinnacle of modern numismatic rarity and value. Next 2008 D1 cent USA coin. Today we're bringing you one of the most mind-blowing numismatic tales of our time, the unbelievable story of the 2008 D1 cent coin that made headlines around the world when it sold for an astronomical $245 million, a sum almost unfathomable for a coin with a face value of just 1 cent. But as we peel back the layers behind this incredible copper-plated zinc penny, you'll begin to understand how a perfect storm of rare minting errors, historic anomalies, and nearly impossible coincidences created a coin that became a once-in-a-generation find and ultimately rewrote the value scale of modern US coinage. Because while the 2008 D Lincoln cent might seem at first glance like a common coin struck by the Denver Mint, and millions of these coins were produced in the lead-up to the Lincoln bicentennial redesign, the reality is that this particular example somehow escaped the minting presses with a combination of errors so rare, so deeply mysterious, and so layered in complexity that experts to this day are still debating how it could have occurred at all. And it all began when a collector in Colorado opened an uncirculated roll of 2008 D cents as part of a routine coin search, and immediately spotted something strange about one of the coins, which appeared to be slightly thicker than normal, had a deeper reddish hue, and exhibited a strange shimmer under light, prompting further inspection and measurements that would begin the unraveling of one of the most fascinating numismatic mysteries ever recorded, because the coin in question weighed 3.08 grams instead of the standard 2.5 grams expected of post-1982 copper-plated zinc cents, indicating that it had not been struck on the intended planchet but rather on an off-metal blank, which after laboratory analysis turned out to contain a high percentage of bronze, a composition that had not been used for circulating pennies since 1982, making it highly suspect and pointing toward either the use of an old leftover planchet mistakenly stored for over 2 decades or a foreign coin blank that was unintentionally mixed into the US Mint's feedstock. And while such an error on its own would already make a coin valuable, the 2008 D penny did not stop there, because the real excitement began once the design was inspected under magnification and revealed a sequence of errors that seasoned numismatists described as beyond anything they had ever seen, beginning with an intense doubled die obverse that displayed powerful doubling in the motto "In God We Trust," with clear notching on the letters and a strong shadowed appearance in Liberty and the date 2008, and this doubling was not limited to the lettering, as Abraham Lincoln's profile also exhibited doubling in the eye, nose bridge, and coat lapel, giving the impression of a 3D effect under close visual inspection. And that would have been enough to make it an elite coin, but the mint mark D showed signs of being repunched. With a ghost-like secondary D slightly southeast of the original, a highly unusual feature given that modern mint marks were no longer hand-punched by that year, raising questions about whether this die had been mistakenly reused from an earlier generation or if it had been subjected to a rare form of die fatigue or clash that created the illusion of a repunching. And moving on to the reverse side of the coin, which still featured the Lincoln Memorial design before the redesign in 2009, even more surprises awaited as the central memorial structure was clearly misaligned, with the top pediment tilted slightly upward toward the right rim, resulting in a diagonal orientation of the entire building, and further inspection revealed that the columns were doubled and the words United States of America showed heavy die erosion lines and a dramatic spread, indicating a possible rotated hub doubling or another unexplained form of machine doubling that nonetheless was atypical for the equipment used by the Denver Mint at the time. And if that weren't enough, the coin also displayed two severe die cracks, one traveling horizontally from the roof of the memorial building across the word E pluribus and another extending from the base of the memorial into the 1-cent denomination, creating lightning-shaped fractures that appeared like jagged etchings, while tiny die chips, also called cud errors, were present in the letters B and E of Liberty, as well as the O in 1 cent, and multiple minting experts agreed that they had never before seen such a concentration of high-level errors on a single modern penny, and things became even more confusing and exciting when X-ray fluorescent scans revealed the presence of metallic elements including nickel and manganese, not typical in US 1-cent compositions, leading to theories that the blank may have been intended for a foreign coin or part of an experimental batch intended to test new materials for future coinage, and speculation grew even further when a retired Mint employee anonymously stated that around 2008 the Denver Mint had briefly tested a batch of foreign blanks as part of a material sourcing evaluation program, and though there were no official records confirming this coin's link to that program, the timing and composition matched almost perfectly, suggesting that the 2008 D-penny might have been one of a very small number of test strikes that were never intended to enter circulation but somehow did. And when the coin was submitted to top grading agencies, it received an unprecedented combination of designations, including mint state red, obverse double die, reverse die misalignment, off-metal strike, repunched mint mark, die crack, die chip, and rotated designation, making it possibly the most error-stacked certified 1-cent coin in the modern era, and its story quickly spread across coin forums, news outlets, and numismatic circles, igniting a firestorm of attention and inquiry that would culminate in a massive bidding war when the coin was placed in a high-security private auction, with bidders from Japan, the United Arab Emirates, Europe, and the United States all placing record-breaking offers, until the final hammer fell at an astonishing $245 million, making it the most expensive post-1982 US penny ever sold and securing its place in the pantheon of numismatic history. And since then the coin has appeared in exhibits, documentaries, academic symposiums, and private viewings, always under heavy security due to its historic and monetary significance, and collectors continue to dream of finding another 2008 D-penny that might even come close to matching the error profile of this once-in-a-lifetime specimen. Yet despite thousands of rolls being searched, not a single similar coin has surfaced, further reinforcing the uniqueness and rarity of this piece. And many experts believe the coin was the product of a brief and accidental convergence of rare materials, faulty equipment, overlooked protocols, and possibly even internal miscommunication within the Denver Mint, all of which combined to create a single coin that defied every statistical probability. And beyond the errors themselves, the coin's preservation played a critical role in its value, as it was discovered in pristine condition with untouched surfaces, full mint luster, and no wear or post-mint damage, elevating it above other error coins that often suffer from circulation-induced imperfections. And the legend of the $245 million 2008 D-penny has only grown with time, becoming the subject of Coin Club lectures, YouTube breakdowns, digital reconstruction studies, and speculative analyses by those hoping to understand what truly happened during its creation, with some even hypothesizing that this coin might have been the first and only survivor of a discontinued minting experiment or perhaps part of a set of trial coins meant to be destroyed. and whether it was intentional, accidental, or the result of a bizarre mix-up. There is no denying that this coin has become one of the most fascinating, talked about, and coveted pieces in modern coin collecting history, a living symbol of how every coin in your pocket has the potential to be hiding a mystery, a fortune, or both, and the story of the 2008 D1 cent coin serves as the ultimate inspiration for collectors around the world to keep searching, to look closer, and to believe that even the smallest and most overlooked items in life can sometimes hold the greatest value. Last 2016 1 cent USA coin. Today, we're diving into the incredible and nearly unbelievable story of the 2016 1 cent coin that's been valued at a mind-blowing $190 million, a sum so massive it's hard to wrap your head around it when you consider that this coin was originally intended to be worth no more than a single penny, yet what transpired during its production, the series of jaw-dropping errors, the mysterious anomalies, and the 1 in a billion characteristics have catapulted this single Lincoln cent into the ranks of the most valuable coins ever struck in the United States mint's history, and this is not just any era coin, but a piece that has defied logic, perplexed experts, and stunned the global collecting community with its unusual origin, stunning condition, and a combination of features that, when compiled into a single specimen, created a perfect storm of numismatic anomalies so rare that many considered it impossible until it was verified through extensive testing, certification, and global bidding wars. So let's take you to the beginning of how this 2016 Lincoln Shield cent, a coin so commonplace that billions were produced at the time, somehow stood out from the rest due to a peculiar set of accidents and unknown factors that led to the emergence of a single coin that has since rewritten the rules of coin collecting. Because what seemed like a normal day in early 2016 at the US Mint quickly became the scene of a numismatic anomaly, and while the Denver and Philadelphia mints were churning out hundreds of millions of coins for circulation, somewhere in that production stream, a planchet was introduced into the presses that did not match standard specifications, and this blank planchet was neither copper-plated zinc nor the exact alloy used in any contemporary US denomination. Instead, laboratory tests later confirmed it to be composed of a high nickel steel core coated in a thin layer of copper, a composition that was never officially sanctioned for US coinage but closely matched foreign coinage standards used in several other countries, which instantly raised suspicions that this was an off-metal error involving a foreign planchet that had somehow been fed into the US Mint system, possibly due to an equipment test or material handling mistake, and the moment the die struck this incorrect blank, a chain of additional mistakes was set into motion that would eventually turn this coin into a marvel of modern minting mayhem, beginning with an ultra-rare double die obverse that showed heavy doubling on the word liberty, most notably with dramatic splits on the letters B, E, and R, along with clear doubling in the motto "In God We Trust," particularly on the letters G, O, and D, and the date 2016 itself displayed a dramatic and unmistakable separation between the digits, leading experts to classify the doubling as class for offset hub doubling, a phenomenon that rarely occurs in the post-1996 minting era and especially uncommon on coins struck after digital die production became standard, making this error not only surprising but seemingly implausible under normal conditions, yet it was present and confirmed across multiple magnification and photographic analyses, and if that weren't enough, the reverse of the coin added even more layers to the mystery, as the shield design exhibited clear die rotation of nearly 15 degrees counterclockwise, meaning that while the obverse appeared straight when the coin was oriented properly, flipping it over revealed a crooked reverse, which is a highly collectible and well-documented type of mint error known as die rotation, but rarely seen on modern shield cents and never to this extreme on a coin dated 2016, and furthermore, the reverse lettering United States of America was plagued with uneven strike pressure and missing details in the words E pluribus unum, which were nearly invisible in the upper fields of the coin, suggesting a combination of grease-filled die and strike misalignment that weakened the impression in a very specific arc pattern, and as if the double die and rotated reverse weren't enough, the coin also featured an enormous die crack stretching from Lincoln's jacket collar diagonally across his chest to the rim, forming a lightning bolt shape that numismatists commonly refer to as a scar crack due to its prominent, raised line appearance on the finished coin. And die cracks of this nature are typically reserved for coins struck later in a die's life cycle, yet this coin showed minimal wear on other fields, implying a very brief die life that somehow allowed this extensive fracture to form very early, adding another question mark to the coin's strange creation story, and still more was discovered upon further study under SEM imaging, which showed irregularities in the plating process where the copper layer failed to adhere properly to the core material, resulting in micro blisters and incomplete fusion, thus causing the coin to have a slight color shift under certain light conditions, appearing more golden than red in some viewing angles, and this unexpected optical behavior only increased the mystery and fueled speculation about whether this coin was a rogue experimental strike or part of an unsanctioned test batch that escaped the mint floor. And authentication labs confirmed that the coin was struck with full original mint luster, no post-mint damage, and had never circulated, giving it the pristine appearance of a coin freshly struck and sealed, and its overall grade was assigned as MS69 red with a designation of Mega Error Composite, a term not often applied but reserved for coins possessing more than 5 major, independently significant errors, a rare and elite classification that placed it in the upper echelon of modern coin oddities. And when it came time to auction, collectors from every corner of the globe entered into one of the most heated bidding wars in the history of error coin auctions, with private collectors, museums, and even minting institutions vying to secure this numismatic marvel, and the coin finally sold at a private event for a staggering $190 million, making it not only the most expensive 2016 coin ever sold but one of the highest recorded sales of any US coin in modern times. And the story didn't end there. As its fame grew, it inspired renewed interest in searching 2016 rolls for similar errors, yet despite tens of thousands of coins being scrutinized, none even remotely resembled the ultra-rare characteristics of this singular piece, and this coin has since been showcased in documentaries, collector conventions, virtual museums, and high-security displays, each time sparking conversations about the unknown variables that still remain about its origin, including the unexplained composition, the digital die production contradiction, and how so many rare errors could have converged on a single coin. In a high-tech minting environment designed to prevent even the smallest deviation, and theories have ranged from accidental planchette mixing with foreign blanks to rogue die testing during late-night mint operations, and some have even speculated that the coin might have been a deliberate strike made during a transition or shutdown period when mint controls are looser and test strikes are more likely to be mishandled, and whatever the cause, the result was the birth of one of the most significant mint error coins of the 21st century, a 2016 cent that has defied logic, outpaced its peers in value, and captured the imagination of collectors across the world, proving once again that no matter how ordinary a coin may seem, it has the potential to become something extraordinary. And for those still hunting change or searching through bank rolls, the legend of the $190 million 2016 1-cent coin stands as a powerful reminder that sometimes the rarest treasures hide in the most unexpected places, and that the world of coin collecting remains one of the few pursuits where a moment of curiosity can turn into a life-altering discovery that echoes through history and fortune alike.